Welcome back, guys. So I have a selection of little pocket multi-tools. These are all what would be considered UK legal, pocket friendly, keychain friendly little tools that I've done a slip joint video. There's a couple of these that could qualify for that, but I see these as tools that would be stuff that could practically go on your keychain, or you know, on your key set, on your house keys, whatever else. Some I like better than others, some I don't like at all. Most of these have more than one function. Well, in fact, yeah, I would say most of them do, apart from really the Key Smart, which you could argue I do have a second function for that, but it is primarily a knife. But we'll go through and discuss them all. So, creme de la creme, top of the charts on this one. This is the best tool on the table. There's no two ways about it. This trumps everything. I cannot for the life of me remember where it is, but I am sure there is a little hidden thing to pull out to make this into a keychain tool that will basically just slip onto your keys. Can't remember where it is, but it's on there, I'm sure. This has a dozen little tools on it. It's the Leatherman Juice CS4. It's a good sized set of pliers, which when you consider that you compare it to like the little Gerber there, it's a lot bigger. It's going to stand up to a lot more. These have just got scissors on them. But between the pliers, the knife, the saw, I mean, anyone that knows pocket tools and whatever else, you'll be more than familiar with this tool. I won't go through the ins and outs of every single bit because I'll spend way too much time on this tool alone. But there is a lot that can be done with that thing. It is my favourite little tool that I tend to put it in a separate little slip, but it does go in my pocket with my keys all the time, outside of work. That's, I believe as well, you can pick them up for around £60–65, around about that margin. Then we have the Leatherman Micra, which, again, lovely little tool, but for me it's just a little bit too blocky. I'll throw it around the place. It's a little bit too blocky, it's a bit too squared off. It works, it does what you're asking of it, but it's not the most comfortable tool in the world, ergonomically. There's things like a nail file and nail cleaner in there and a little knife. Nothing sort of holds up too much. There's little slip joint bits on there, but it's got all these little tools on it. It's a good little bit of kit to go on your keys. I'm sure most of you would have seen individual reviews on that. It's not bad, but again, I think they tried to put too much in such a small tool that I think a lot of the things that just don't perform that brilliantly. It's okay, but I just don't feel it's amazing. It's not really one for me. The Leatherman CS4, on the other hand, is a little bit, well, it's practically the same size, it's just a little bit taller, but you've got the added bonus that this has a carabiner on it, which makes it all the much more functional for taking it straight off your keys and actually putting it to use. You've got a decent set of scissors in there, which ergonomically, the way that handle's shaped, it actually fits into the fingers and actually operates and feels comfortable to use. If you want a little set of decent scissors for going on your keychain, if that's one of the main functions you're going to want on a tool, this is a real good option. You do get the added bonus that you have a little knife on the side of there, as well as having a little nail file and screwdriver, and then a pair of tweezers as well. For such a small tool, it does everything that it tries to do very well. All of those tools come in handy a lot, and this carried on my keychain for quite a long time. It was only set back by one tool on this table, which I'll come to in a minute. That's the CS style CS, and that is around £30, I believe. Then we have the Gerber Dime. Now, the Gerber Dime is a little bit rough around the edges, squeaks, it crunches. It's not the best tool in the world, but for £22, it does everything it sets out to do. This one is actually my wife's. I bought this for her recently. She's asked to borrow my tools a couple of times, and I figured it would be nice for her to have a little set for on her keychain, so that she doesn't have to ask me for tools. She has them there. But again, it's got a good few little sets of tools and things. It does feel a little bit grindy, a little bit crunchy. They have done worse tools, they have done better tools, but it achieves everything. It's got your bottle opener on there. It does what it says on the tin. It's not a bad little bit of kit. Certainly not my favourite, but it's certainly for a little bit of light use, for something that is just going to be a go-to when you need to every now and then, but don't put too much strain on it. That's a good little option for a reasonable price point. Now this is the only tool on this table that managed to knock the Style CS off of my keychain, because this little Bokeh Tech tool has a decent sized little knife, which personally I find one of the most handy things to have. You've got a decent sized screwdriver to get a bit of a grip on, a belt cutter or package opener, and a little bottle opener there. But then as well, in the middle of those, it has a very, very functional, good size set of scissors, which again, they are brilliant for just general little cutting tasks. They have been like a little pair of shears. They've had a good bit of wear and tear. I think they've got a couple of little marks on the blade where I've probably put them through a little bit more than what they should be put through. But for a pocket tool, that really ticks a lot of boxes for me. The three tools it sets out, well, the multifunction of the third tool there, but the three main sections you've got of that set out and do everything it tries to do very well, and I've been very, very impressed with that. Up until recently, that was on my keys all the time, which reminds me I've actually left the one tool off of the table that I now carry because it's on my key set, which I now carry the Style, which is the original version of this, which basically is that small section there, and all it has on it is a little tiny knife, a little set of scissors in the back, and a little nail file as well. But brilliant little option. So that ended up being, just because it's minimalist and very, very tiny, but it does the tools very well. Then we have the Bokeh as well. That, I think that's around £25. Then we have the KeySmart Dapper 100. I would argue that, yeah, you have the one function of the blade on there, and realistically it is the only tool that's on this thing. But for anyone that does any photography stuff, that little tool on the back there can be used to tighten up tripod, little quarter screws on the back, not quarter screws, 3/8 or whatever they are. It works on little tripod screws or base plate screws, and it works quite well. So I would say that is kind of two tools in one. So that's why it's made its way onto the table for me. Again, that was around £12, I believe they are, to get a hold of, but they are hard to come by in this country. Then we have the Swiss Tech Utility. It's not quite a well-known brand, but it is all the same. Not a bad little tool. It does have a knife on there for opening packages, slight serration on that bit. If you open it right out, it does have a bottle opener on there, has a reasonably functional Phillips screwdriver on the head there, and I believe, yeah, there's a little flat screwdriver, but you've got to open that out to sort of halfway to make use of that. Flat screwdriver on the side there. Avoid cutting yourself on that while you're using it, but it's not a bad little tool. The way it also opens out, it allows you to clip on and off of your keys quite easily. I'm always a big fan of anything where it allows quick release. So with that was one of the main bonuses of that it allowed you to just clip on and off your keys. Because a lot of the time when you want to use these little tools, you don't want it fixed and attached onto your keys that you can't get it off and use it. This obviously isn't a knife at all, but we've got the Gerber Mullet, which is a brilliant little pry bar. You can hang your keys off the side of it. You've got a little section there for using as a bit holder for a screwdriver bit. bottle opener, Phillips screwdriver, scraper or a flat screwdriver, another large or small flat screwdrivers on the head there, as well as a little nail puller. For the amount of functions that are in that found its way onto my keychain for quite a while, and it's did a lot of heavy duty work. The only place where it failed is I actually put a bit in there on the, this is the second one I had. I put one in there, went to turn it, and I turned it the wrong way, and it put pressure and pinged that right open, and it just snapped in half. So that is not very well thought out. If they just put a little bit of metal across there joining it to make that section hold up a little better, probably would have been the saving grace of this, but it works all the same. But it's a great little option for around £9. I think the Swiss key, that's around £12, somewhere around there. Then we have the Kershaw Bar, the Kershaw Pub, yeah, that's it. So little sheep's foot style blade, it's a little slip joint. That little back bit there allows you to clip it on. You've got the little flat screwdriver or scraper on there, bottle opener, and obviously a knife. This was bright blue when I got it, so I sanded it off and did a really poor job of it, and I've dropped it and dented it and whatever else, so it looks a little rough around the edges. But these are good little options for around £20 for a little keychain tool. It's a half decent knife with a couple of other little features and bottle opener on there. So it's an option for a little tool for someone. Then we have the Black Fox Scal. Now this, again, I think they're around £25 to £30. It could be 30 or £32, somewhere around there. It's a lovely little knife, but it is a little bit small. I can just about get 2 to 3 fingers on there with a little discomfort. Doesn't give you a lot of usable space, but it's not a bad little tool to go on your keychain or whatever. A little hole there to go on. It's got a good little bottle opener on the back side of it. For a knife and a bottle opener combo, you can't get much better for a tiny little keychain tool if that's what you're wanting. It's a good little option there. It also comes with a little lanyard for turning it into a neck knife, so it'll clip into a little holster. We then have probably one of the more expensive tools on the table. This little thing is the Dapper design clip. It was sent to me to review it some while ago, and I did feature it in another video. But personally, I would say that for the £50 price mark that's on this thing, it's a little bit expensive for what it is. It is beautiful. It is very well made. I'm very impressed with it. It's titanium on the actual main construction of it. It is lovely in what it performs to and how it is, and the way it's made. It is a really nice little bit of kit, and I love that I have it. However, I would have never paid £50 for it. They do an aluminium one now, which I believe is around £25. But still, that price point for this tiny little tool, it is very well made, so it's weighing that up. It's a pocket hanger with obviously just something to hold your keys on, but it just provides that little knife as well. So it's got the two features on it, 2 tools. It's a nice little option, but it is a little bit more on the expensive, elegant side. Then you've got the Victorinox Midnight Manager. Sorry, no, this is the Manager. The Midnight Manager has a small torch on it. Again, this has a brilliant little few tools: screwdriver, bottle opener, tiny little knife on there, nail file and screwdriver, a little pair of scissors, and then you have this little function of a tiny little pen in there, which you can pull that out and use that if you can get the grip on it. I have had to do that a couple of times, but it does come in handy. I did carry this for quite a while. It is a brilliant little tool, but I just found that for the size it took up on the keys, I preferred something like that, or something like that, where the tools on this, they all work, but they're all very, very small. It fits a lot in, and if you only need these tiny little things for trimming your nails and whatever else, job's good. But if you're going to be working with them a little better, yeah, I should be going for this sort of range. One of the Leatherman or the Bokeh or if it's for a little bit light use but you want larger tools, the Gerber is a good option. And then you have basically the same sort of version of that, but this is just the classic SD. So scissors, knife and screwdriver. You don't have the extra layer of tools. I believe that one's around £25 and that one's around £12, there or thereabouts. And then we have the Whitby, now I always forget the name of this one, I do have that here. It is the Whitby Sprint, which again, as I mentioned in the last video, on the slip joint video, Whitby has done a few knives that are very similar to the James brand. I won't get into the whole specifics of it, but I don't know if they're copies, I don't know who's copied who, I don't know, there are different stories I've heard, but it's a good little knife, but it's potentially a copy of another one. I don't know the full ins and outs, but it does have the little screwdriver flathead on the back there as well, which again could be useful for photography style bits of kit and whatever else. Then we have the CRKT Viva, quite big for a pocket tool. Again, it has the hanger, you can put a key set through there, got a bottle opener, a few little spanner sets on there, a bit of a pry as well as a flat screwdriver. It's got its few little options. Not a bad little tool. I used it a few times, but it just overall it was a bit oversized for what I wanted from my keys. And then we have what you could argue was the older version of the Gerber Mullet. This is the Gerber Shard. It's not a bad tool again, but it's quite basic for what it is. Little pry tool, bottle opener, little Phillips screwdriver. Nice little tool, but I think if you're going to buy one, always go for the Gerber Mullet. There's no comparison between the two of them. The Mullet is just the better model. It offers more, it has more tools, it's better shape, better size, offers a little bit more functionality in a lot of ways. But there we go, guys. If you want any more information about any of these, feel free to leave any comments below. If you've enjoyed the video, just remember to like, share and subscribe. But thanks again, guys. Drop any comments below if you've got any questions. Thanks for your time. Cheers.